Alrighty folks, we're going to just do a quick run through now of the shifting such that it exists now, and let you guys see where the current state of the shifting is. So let's, without further ado, fire it up. And what's the bets, because I'm on camera now, it'll need 2 turns of the key. It didn't. Alright, suppose up that window, keep the noise down. Alright, so we're in park, so I'm going to apply the foot brake and shift straight into drive, which now engages first gear. So I'm just holding the car on the foot brake. And the first thing that you'll observe is when I release the foot brake now, the car actually creeps, because we're effectively in first gear. So I'm going to just roll out of the driveway here. I'm going to just give her a little bit of gas here. We very gently, very nicely accelerate. Now as soon as I come off the throttle, we get a huge regen here. So let's spin around again in first gear. Again, just a huge regen there as soon as I come off the pedal. I just come up here, a little bit of throttle, we really take off. And regen is huge. You can actually hear then we pick up the power and go into a power turn. And we're down. So that's first gear. So let's go into the manual gate and just going to kick up to second gear just as we're creeping forward here. So there's second gear now engaged, absolutely flawlessly actually. I can just hear a little kind of a click in the gearbox. So again, we're just creeping at idle. I know this is probably terribly boring for all of you that want me to just go straight out onto the motorway and see how fast the thing will go, but unfortunately guys, this is how we have to do it. So I'm going to bring some throttle on, and off the throttle we get regen again, and we just go for a power turn here in second gear. Very nice. Again, regenning beautifully there. I'm actually drawing 0 amps here now as I'm just, here we go, we're starting to draw current again just as the momentum runs out. Steering is beautiful. That Opel Zafira power steering pump is a work of art for this car. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for third gear just as we're creeping forward here. And my creep speed is just dropped now, obviously because I'm in a higher gear, but if I give it some throttle, it picks up quite nicely. A small bit of regen and we go for the power turn again. Quite nice, and regenning here on the way down. I'm just going to have to come on the brake there a little bit, I think. Ooh dear, that's a tight one. Alright, so again, same jazz now. Just as we're creeping forward here, I'm going to kick the shifter to fourth gear. Now we get a little bit of a thump there and the creep just really goes down to an almost stop. So let's give some throttle. Again, it takes, you know, the acceleration's just down as of course you'd expect it to be, and no real regen there. And the power turn again, obviously not as sprightly. So let's try fifth gear just as we're coming down here. There's fifth gear. Ooh, got a bit of speed on here. Come on, brakes, brakes, brakes. So I'm just still idle creeping here. Current is a little bit higher, so we're in 5th gear, which of course, so she doesn't like that, and I actually think that 5th may not be engaged properly. So let's kick down to 4th and 3rd and 2nd, and we're creeping again, and 1st, and there comes the creep now again, just with no throttle application at all. And there's that nice, ooh, loads of regen. Let's try 2nd here. Ooh, that's quite a, has a bit of a thump going into 2nd there. We'll just power on, and around she goes. A nice healthy regen coming down here in 2nd. I know you guys are probably sick and tired of me driving around in rings here, but unfortunately I've got to prove all of this stuff works before I can just go. You know, the whole if in doubt, flat out doesn't quite apply here. There's just a lot of pickup there now. I'm gonna try a power shift. I just chickened out. I was gonna try a power on shift there, but I don't necessarily really want to do that yet. Just try down here now, just as we're creeping forward again. I'm just going to go for 2nd, because a bit of a thump the last time. Let's try again. Oh yeah, it's definitely going into 2nd. Let's try 3rd. 3rd is a very nice shift, down to 2nd again, and back again. Okay, so we're in 3rd now. Kick her down to 2nd, and there's a nice thump. Bit of a thump going into 2nd there. So I assume I'm in 2nd. I don't have an indicator on the dash yet. Yeah, that's 2nd, and I just know by the feel of it now. Very nice. You can hear the motor kind of hunts a little bit when it's running between regen and power. So that's 2nd gear. I'm going to try just a little bit of power, a tiny bit of power, and shift to 3rd. Oh yeah, you could hear the little thump there when we were going into 3rd. Now, keeping in mind, folks, that let's go back to 2nd. Oh yeah, bit of a thump there. Keeping in mind, folks, that these all the pressures and the settings for the PWM on the solenoids and all this, I kind of just had to work that out from very basic documentation that I have for the 5HP24. And I mean, there's things like pressures and overlap shifting and all that kind of thing that I have to really work out. So this is really only a first look at it to kind of shake it down a bit. I know, as I say, you're probably sick of me just driving in rings here, and I do apologize for that, but I've got to take baby steps here, because if I melt down that gearbox, you know, there goes a year by the time I can get another one in here. So that's why I'm taking those baby steps. So apologies, as I say, for driving you all nutty. Alright, so we're in 2nd. I'm going to go for a shift up to 3rd, or 3rd gear now. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a power turn here. Then I'm going to have a little bit of speed. I'm going to let off my throttle and downshift to 2nd now. Oh yeah, there was a thump and I got a nice bit of regen there. going to do the same again, but I'm going to downshift to first. So we're in second now. I'm going to come back up around. Just do a little bit of a gentle power turn here now. People will think I'm going totally nuts here now. So a little bit of power on and power off, and downshift to first. Ooh, that was beautiful. It's a very smooth shift down to first. We got a lovely bit of regen. And just back around again, and oh yeah, first really brings the regen on so hard when you take your foot off the throttle. You could probably easily kangaroo the car, I'd say, doing this. And if I put the power on and power off, power on, power off, power on, power off, yeah, you kind of drive yourself mad. Alright folks, so I'm going to just reverse back into the drive now. Back here into normal gate and into reverse. And I can pretty much just hold the car back in here without breaking a sweat, really. Just stop here because I want to plug her in. That'll do me. Into park and handbrake on. That is a first look at actually shifting the 5HP24 with the prototype of the controller. Keeping in mind that I am, at least this gives me the confidence. Let me switch her off for a bit. At least this gives me the confidence to go ahead and design a PCB and all that kind of good stuff. Excuse me. Nearly time for my dinner. That we can actually make a, you know, a proper printed circuit version of this guy. That we can actually then put some other functions in there, because at the minute we're just kind of blindly shifting here. We're not monitoring the turbine speed sensor, the output shaft speed sensor, or the which, well, I suppose it would have been the engine RPM, which should be flywheel RPM now. So we got quite a bit of electronics to go, but just on a first little lap around the block here, so to speak, she seems to be really working well. So all right, I'm gonna sign off, because I've probably got you guys gone around in rings by now. But it's very good. Just get the feet wet here with actually shifting the gearbox. Alright folks, catch you on the flip side, and thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.